Hey, you Smauglings, what is happening? I feel like I've been neglecting this channel a little bit lately, so I wanted to talk about this game here, which is Silent Hill Homecoming. And I'm sorry for the quality of the camera right now. I don't have the usual camera that I have. I do not have it with me right now, so I am sorry about that. But that is just for this video where we don't have the usual camera. But I was thinking recently about underrated games and some of the most underrated of all time, and I think that and this is definitely one of them. This is Silent Hill Homecoming, and Silent Hill has obviously got a lot of traction recently due to the recent games that have come out, and we've had Silent Hill 2 remake, which has sold a lot of copies and people have really enjoyed it, which I'm really happy about as a massive fan of that game, and it's brought in a lot of new people to it, and we've got Silent Hill F coming out as well. Hopefully this year. I don't know if it will be, but we'll see when it actually happens. But I feel like this one and some of the other Western Silent Hill games are forgotten about quite a lot. And this one's quite important to me because this is one I grew up playing, and it's one of the first ones that I did play. And I played the games in an unconventional order because the first ones that I played were Origins and Homecoming, and then I played Silent Hill 2. So this was one of the first ones, and I originally played this on the PS3, and the Xbox 360 version is obviously better because the multi-platform releases were better on the Xbox 360, but perfectly fine on the PS3, ran perfectly fine for me, and this is a game I consider to be one of my favourites, and as is a lot of the games within the series. And the cool thing about this is that it's got the descriptions of the characters within the manual, and it's also got the premise there as well, and you've got all the different characters there, and obviously that's completely foreign to a lot of people now because we don't get the descriptions of characters or the premise of the story within the manual, and the manual is like this basically now. It's like a goddamn leaflet. It's almost non-existent most of the time, and I don't mean to be hypocritical because I do purchase mostly digital now, but there is a nostalgic value to the manual, and they just don't make them like they used to anymore. But that is just the way there. But I think this is honestly a great survival horror game. Quite honestly, I think it's one of the absolute best, and I think people saw this and thought that it was trying to mimic what Resident Evil was doing. It was trying to do the action-oriented gameplay, but this is a great survival horror game as well. The combat is emphasized quite a bit in this game because the character Alex Shepard believes he is a military veteran, so he has those skills in his mind to be able to encounter and combat the creatures that he faces within Shepherd's Glen and Silent Hill. And he's a soldier that is returning home from war, and he's been discharged from the army, and he's trying to return home, but everything's in disarray. Shepherd's Glen has completely gone crazy. His mother's catatonic. His brother's missing. Everything has gone wrong for this guy in this particular game, and I think this will be reevaluated in years to come. I do believe that because I think this is a really good survival horror game. I think it is really good, and it was caught in a weird time where survival horror games were transitioning into more action-focused experiences, and it doesn't really commit to one particular style, as there's action-focused combat and there's also the survival horror elements of old, which are the puzzles and the exploration. And I think at the time Resident Evil went full into the action oriented gameplay style, but this one just sort of had its hand in both ponds, and I think that was a bit of a detriment to it because it seemed like it was non-committal and people didn't really respond to that, and I think that people had this aversion to a Western team taking on Sandal because it was a Japanese developed series of games, and people did not like that that was no longer the case. And I didn't really feel that because I was a kid at the time and I was enjoying what I had on the PS3 at the time. I really did enjoy it, and this cover is underrated as well because it was always really striking to me. You see Alex Shepard, they walk into a room and you see the nurse sitting in the chair, and then you've got the regular world and the other world, and it's a great dichotomy there, and I really love this cover. We always get the best cover art in Europe. I mean, the American cover art are usually not very good, so we usually get the better ones, and I'm thinking of Ico as another example of that. And I was looking for the poster. I don't have the poster up because my posters keep falling down, so I've got it to the side there somewhere. But Ico, the cover art for that was amazing in Europe, but then it was absolutely terrible in North America, and we are really lucky in that way. But I really love this game. This game is actually one of the games I've probably played the most. I've played this game so many times, and I really love it. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. The music by Akira Yamaoka, he was still doing the music for it at this time, and the sound design, and it sounds awesome, like it always does when he's at the helm of the music. So there's no issues there, and I think it was just an amazing game, and I really did love it, and it really did get hated on quite a lot at the time, and the reviews were not completely horrible. They were average to passable. I think they had some scores that were quite high for this game, but I remember the fan reception being quite bad towards it, and the same applies to the subsequent Western releases for Silent Hill. Silent Hill was in a bad place during this time, really bad, and I think it looks like it's going to be in a really good place right now with the upcoming releases of the new games and the movie. And the Silent Hill 2 remake was phenomenal. Couldn't have asked for a better remake, and Bloober Team really proved themselves with that, which I'm really happy about. And this is honestly one of the games I consider to be the most underrated, quite honestly, and it just brings back so many memories because I remember playing this with my friends as well at the time. When we'd have sleepovers, we'd play this game, and I was always trying to indoctrinate people into Silent Hill because obviously Resident Evil was the more popular franchise and always will be, but I'll never give up. No, I'll never give up trying to get people to try it, you know what I mean? Like, I always enjoy it when we get new fans for the series, and I really do love it, and I think people should try this one if they not. If there's new fans coming to the series and they have an Xbox 360 or a PS3, I think they should definitely try this one because it stands alone. It's not connected to any previous entries, bar from a few references. But it's a great third-person survival horror game, and I really think it was quite faithful to the original vision for the design of the game. I think that it was a game that stuck true to the Japanese visuals whilst applying a Western gameplay style, which is quite interesting. And I can see how that non-committal approach can be frustrating for people, but I found it to be amazing. I really did enjoy the story. I think it gets a little bit too odd towards the end. I think it falls apart a little bit during the end, but it's about the journey for me always, and this is a great journey, I think, quite honestly. So if you've not played it, I definitely recommend checking out Silent Hill Homecoming. And that's it, guys. Just want to do a little video on this channel. I've been doing some live streams of various games that I wanted to do on here, and I will do more on here in terms of live streaming. I am still figuring out what I want to do at the minute. I'm in a bit of a phase where I'm trying to figure out what to do, as there's quite a few things going on in life, but it's nothing bad. It's just something I have to consider, and some things I have to think about. But I wanted to do a video on here, Smauglings, and I always appreciate you, Smauglings. And I just got as well my highest viewed video, which is the Silent Hill 2 remake clip that I did. I just want to say thank you. I know it's not really a lot compared to a lot of other people, but I appreciate every view, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched that, because it means a lot. And it's only a 30-second clip of me showing off Silent Hill 2 remake on one of my favourite moments from that game, but nonetheless, I really appreciate it. And check out Silent Hill Homecoming, guys, and I will see you soon. So I really appreciate it, Smauglings. Sorry once again for the low quality of camera, because there is no camera, it's just the camera on my laptop a little bit, but I will have camera for the next video. So really appreciate you, Smauglings. Check me out on the main channel, Smaug237, where you can see all my movie related content on there. And I really appreciate it, Smauglings. I will mention as well, sorry, last thing, I know I keep going on. I will mention that I'm doing a review of The Last of Us Season 1. So I'm planning to do a review of The Last of Us Season 1 before Season 2 comes out, and then I will do a full review of Last of Us Season 2 episode by episode. That is the plan currently. So that is that, but I really appreciate you, Smauglings. You guys take care, and I will see you soon.